not good. No wonder I had to give her a bath yesterday. Thanks for joining my channel where Annie and I, here's Annie. There she is. Oh yeah, must be something stinky right here. Annie, no. No. Where Annie and I talk about mental health is spiritual health and spiritual health is mental health. Now, I'm not a pastor, preacher, therapist, or doctor, but I do believe that based on what I've lived through, and I like to share passages from the Bible and talk about how they apply to our life today. First, let me show you this. It's deer antler shedding season. So I found this one on the ground a couple days ago. It's pretty cool. Figured I'd put it here and share it with you guys. Can't see the sunrise today. It's cloudy. We're actually getting a little bit of snow flurries, so hopefully it doesn't snow too much today. Let's see where Annie is. But today, we're gonna bring Annie into our discussion. The title is, If Animals Could Talk. If Animals Could Talk. Hey, Frank, good morning. And we're going to be in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verses 21 through 35. So Numbers, chapter 22, verses 21 through 35. If Animals Could Talk. Now, I get a lot of my content from Our Daily Bread, which is a little booklet. Just gives me ideas for topics. And you can get one too at ourdailybread.org. Now, what if we could understand what animals are saying when they make their noises? Whether they're growling or huffing and puffing like Annie does, or barking. And I'm thinking it would be some kind of technology like you would put ear pods in. Did you ever see those new commercials? You put ear pods in, someone's speaking Spanish, and you actually hear the English coming in through the ear pods, even though that person is speaking Spanish. So you can understand different languages, whether it's Spanish or German or French. Well, what if we had that for dogs? I don't know where Annie went. I'm gonna have to go down there at some point because I see something white down by the creek. Let me show you. I don't know if you guys see it. Across the creek, there's something white. I can't believe that's snow. Hey, California. See ya. So, what if we could understand Annie? I don't know where she went. We put these ear pods in. She'd be huffing and puffing, or making a quiet bark or a loud bark, and we could understand what she's saying and what she's trying to convey to us. That'd be awesome, right? The reason I say that is in Numbers chapter 22, there's Annie. What if we could understand you, Annie? Wouldn't that be good? That would be good. God used an animal to talk to Balaam. So Balaam was asked over and over again by Balak, the king of Moab, to come and curse God's people, the Israelites, and he would make him a very wealthy person. But he kept saying, no, God doesn't want me to go. But every time Balak, the king of Moab, sent more and more distinguished people to ask Balaam, Balaam kept asking God, should I go? Should I go? Should I go? So finally God's like, okay, go. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm safe there. So he kept asking God. God's like, all right, go ahead. So he gets on his donkey and he follows some of Balak's leaders back to Balak, where Balak wanted him to curse the Israelis. Well, what happens? while Balaam is on his donkey. At first, they're following the path, and Balaam's donkey suddenly freaks out and goes into the field off the path and goes around kind of the path in the field. Balaam was like, "What are you doing, donkey?" He's riding the donkey, starts beating the donkey to get back on the path. And after it makes like a big roundabout in the field, Balaam's donkey gets back on the path. Then they come into a vineyard. It's a very narrow vineyard with walls on both sides. And all of a sudden the donkey starts veering to one side, crushing Balaam's foot against the wall. Balaam starts hitting his donkey, beating his donkey again. Like, what is my donkey doing? And finally, they come to another narrow path area. Kusing, I'm talking about a passage from the Bible. And the title of this one is If Animals Can Talk. And I'm in Numbers chapter 22, verses 21 through 35. And Balaam, he's on his donkey, going to talk to the king of Moab, Balak, who wants Balaam to curse the Israelites. God doesn't want him to do that. Balaam kept asking to go, so God let him go, but his donkey keeps acting weird. Then the third time, there's a narrow path, and the donkey couldn't veer to the left, it couldn't veer to the right, it didn't even have enough space to turn around. So Balaam's donkey just laid down on the path underneath Balaam. So Balaam starts beating the donkey a third time, just beating the donkey, like, get up, let's go, let's follow these people, what's going on? Then all of a sudden, God allowed the donkey to talk. And the donkey's like, why do you keep beating me? Why have you beaten me 3 times? And Balaam's like, well, it's because you're not following the path, you're not going forward. Let's go. And the donkey said, you've owned me for a long time. Have I ever acted like this before? And then Balaam's eyes were opened to the angel of the Lord, God sitting there opposing his path. And Balaam gets off his donkey and lays face down on the ground and says to the angel, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. So he gets off his donkey and says, I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, why is that? Because his inward intention was to go there and probably curse God's people to collect a big reward from the king of Moab, Balak. Get a bunch of gold and silver and be really rich. Right? That was his inward intention. And God knew it and didn't want him to do that. So he kept opposing him and then showed himself to him and then said, fine, Balaam, you keep going, but you do not do anything unless I tell you. So the point is, we need to heed God's instructions, not just outwardly and be like fake people or fake Christians, but inwardly as well. You know? Do we heed his instructions given to us in the Bible? Or are we just doing it outwardly, or are we also doing it inwardly? That's the question. So the way it's written here is, Dolly, that's funny. May we heed the instructions God gives us in the pages of the Bible through the Holy Spirit's guidance and in the wise counsel of others. Not just outwardly, but inwardly too. So the 2 questions today are, first question, in what area do you give the appearance of obedience without the inward intention? In what area do you give the appearance of obedience without the inward intention? And the second question is, how might God be calling your attention to that? How might God be calling your intention or your attention to that? I'm sure I do that too. try to look a certain way, but inwardly I feel different. No, the donkey doesn't get the best of him. Doesn't drop kick Balaam or hind kick him or step on him when he's face down laying prostrate. Nope. The donkey. I don't think Balaam got in any more trouble than he did getting called out for sinning inwardly. That was punishment enough. God calls you out. Right, Annie? There she goes. Holy cow, she's flying around today. Look at her go. That's why she's doing it. She probably couldn't get down there. There were ducks. I don't know if you heard them, but there's ducks down there. She probably couldn't get down, so she comes running this way to go around all these bushes and trees and probably thorns to get down to the creek. I hear that. Hey, Mariner. Good morning. Good morning, Rick. Thanks for joining, guys. Oh, were you? Were you in numbers, Mariner? Yeah, I got to pull Annie into the conversation. Yeah, she's duck hunting. That's funny. I did hear what the Pope said about Trump and his Vice President J.D. Vance. I don't know what to think about that, about the migrant situation. I mean, we can't just have a whole bunch of people coming into our country illegally. You know, I don't know why that's a weird, you know, why does everybody think that we should just let people come in and not worry about it and they can enter our country illegally? I mean, it's just like Trump, I don't agree with this, but it's just like Trump saying, hey, let all the Palestinians in Gaza go into Egypt and Jordan. Well, of course, the whole Palestinian world's like, no way, we don't want that. Egypt's like, no way, we don't want that. Jordan's like, no way, we don't want that. Well, why should America allow millions of people just to come into our country and we don't even know who they are? They enter illegally. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Legal immigration's fine, but just to have a massive flood of people come into your country, nobody wants that, right? That's everywhere. That's not just the U.S., you know, that's everywhere around the world. So it's just, Rick, what are you talking about? Anyway, it's kind of interesting, that whole dynamic, what the Pope said. I mean, J.D. Vance said something stupid about not loving others unless you love your family first. I mean, it was kind of a weird statement, but anyway, he was just trying to find something that was written somewhere, not in the Bible, of course, to say that, you know, we don't have to take care of these migrants. So he was using bad theology, J.D. Vance was. So the Pope kind of addressed that too. Yeah, they could. I mean, we need migrants in here. There's no doubt. Like, they do a lot of jobs that Americans just don't want to do, and don't do, quite frankly. We just don't do them. I mean, I couldn't imagine what would happen if we threw out all the migrants right now. There would be like negative 10% unemployment, if you know what I mean. And then everything would get really expensive because every business would have to hire and pay a lot more to attract people. So we do need some migration. Yeah, the people that hire them, and we do, honestly, too, if you think about it. We like cheap things. We don't like expensive things. So we want some migration. It's just a balancing act, you know. I don't think any country wants illegal immigration. The Da Vinci Code. I'm not following the story so much, but a little bit. Oh, the white thing? I don't know. You know, I got to go down there. Look at that thing. I don't know, it looks bigger than a bag. It could be 2 bags. What does Annie have? Yeah, that bishop and cardinal thing is a mess too in the Catholic Church. There's a lot of problems. Yeah, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of problems in the church. It doesn't matter what church. Catholic Church, Methodist, Lutheran, evangelical, non-denominational evangelical, they're all... You know why there's problems in every church? Because we're people and we're all fallen people, and there's no such thing as a perfect church. What are you eating? I just want to make sure that wasn't an antler, or I don't know what that is. It doesn't even look like a... You're okay, girl. What? She's freaking out. Okay, Annie, we're coming down there to see what this white thing is. Okay, I'm going to try and go through these prickers and find it out. What says in Revelations, Rick? I'm not following you. I don't want to step on these little trees either. I don't want to keep the growth going. Well, there is some ice down here in the... All right, my eyesight's really bad. You guys are going to have to help me. What is this white thing over here? Well, this looks like a plastic bags. Looks like some kind of plastic bag, huh? I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see far. It does look monochrome. We are having a little bit of snow, so there's no sunrise and there's a lot of clouds. Yeah, guys, it looks like some kind of huge plastic bag. I don't know. I don't know what it's for, what it's to, but it's bigger than those shopping bags. It could either be 2 shopping bags right next to each other, but I think it's like one bigger one. Do I ever feel like a plastic bag just blowing in the wind? Yes, I do feel like a plastic bag very frequently, Dolly. Shoot. Falling down is a lesson to learn to get back up. That's true, Wayne. Dolly, she doesn't want you to take her severed body part. That's true. What are you doing there, Annie? Now she's like on the bank of the creek. See, it's like, it makes a different sound, like a hard, crunchy sound. It is like a bone. I believe it's a bone and not a piece of wood. It's definitely not a piece of wood. It's not a piece of plastic. She's got some kind of bone. And she knows it's different. And she doesn't want me even looking at her when she's got it. That's true. I mean, we need, Rick, when you're talking about going into your closet, well, it's best. I think it is best to pray on your own. God says don't go necessarily worshiping out in public all the time and make yourself look better. I mean, it's really about your personal relationship with Christ. So, praying on your own, I think, is preferred. I don't know if you guys can see, there's just a few snowflakes coming down. Yeah, worship in secret and be rewarded openly. Yep. That's a Katy Perry song lyric, Matt? Which one? I missed it. Stuck in a tree and flapping. Oh, plastic bag. Annie has a bone to pick. That's funny, Mariner. Gesundheit. Thank you. All right, let's go back up here and see what she's doing. I'm going to follow her path. Oh, here's another plastic bag. Gee whiz. I got to bring, you know what I should do? One of these times I'm going to bring a plastic bag and come clean this place up. Because you can tell some people come back here and then when they finish their drink, they just throw it off to the side. It's kind of sad. Annie, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Picking it up with my gloves. Oh my God. Holy shit. What is that, you guys? What is this? It's a skull. It's a skull. It's about 3 or 4 inches by 3 or 4 inches. Ugh. Nasty. It's got little like horns on it or whatever. Any idea? Oh, gross, man. I gotta move this. I don't want her eating a head. It's probably got flesh. Maybe she already ate the eyeballs. What is this thing? Anybody have any idea? Oh, I bet you can have a deer die and decompose. I just don't know what the heck this is. Like a squirrel head or something? It is a severed head. Gross. Look at this thing. Look at the bottom of it. Those white things. It looked like teeth. Those could be teeth. This could be a deer head. A small deer head. It's a severed head. Why would you get descriptors? I don't know. What am I supposed to say? The thing's pretty big. Pretty big. Look at this yummy thing. Yuck. Okay. Well, no wonder she was running away from me. But do you notice how she listened to me? I told her to drop it and she dropped it. She's such a good girl. Such a good girl. And I showed you that deer antler at the beginning too. Now we've got a severed head with 2 molars in it, it looks like. Annie's gonna probably come back with some more bones. You got some more bones? Yeah, she stunk yesterday. So she must have found something yesterday and been rolling in it because I had to give her a bath. She smelled so bad. I got her in the car, the whole car stank. One time my friend collected bones off the beach in front of me and then she was no longer that close to a friend. Yeah. That's funny. Well, don't be mad at me, Dolly. It's just kind of interesting. All right, Annie. Good girl. She listens so well. All right, guys. Well, Annie and I are going to sign off. I'm going to go get some coffee. I appreciate you joining us today, talking about if animals could talk, if Annie could talk. And let's remember to, do what God says, not just outwardly, but the most important is inwardly, in our heart and in our mind. Okay, so keep that in mind today. Try to do the right thing, not only outwardly, but inwardly. I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you don't come across any deer antlers or severed heads like Annie has this week. And I hope to see you tonight at 8 p.m. We'll look at album covers tonight, okay? Yep, you enjoy your coffee too, Dolly. Clean them and put them in a spooky old scrapbook. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for joining. Peace.